How you doing? I'm Alan Edwards, one of the assistant coaches here at the University of Wyoming with the men's basketball program. And today, I just want to get you guys to understand the block charge rule, which they've kind of played with over the past few years, switching it to one way and then bringing it back to what we've done over the years. Here to demonstrate with me is Jeremy, one of our freshman guards, and Alex, also one of our freshman guards. With the block charge rule, I think it's gotten a little bit more difficult now because of the European step now that Ginobili brought into the NBA, and for a while it took a little time to get down to the college level. So one of the phrases we use with our guys quite a bit is stepping up to take the charge. And what I basically mean by that, if Jeremy had the ball out on the wing, Parrot, throw me the ball. Had the ball on the wing, and we're so big of a help defensive team that we always talk to our guys about being on a white line. If you're guarding somebody on the weak side of the floor, there's no reason for you to be guarding a guy that doesn't have the ball when the ball is the one that scores. That's the only way they can get 2 or 3 or 1 point. But if Alex out here is actually in great position if he was guarding me on the wing. And if Jeremy had the ball and he was to drive baseline, those both from the Jeremy. We would tell this guy he needs to step up outside the paint. And one of the things Coach Shai has been talking about lately is getting outside of this lane line that they have for the girls' sport. So when we're telling our guys to step up, we want to go from a position of being in help, and we want to kind of sprint to step up to force that guy to either make an adjustment or obviously take the charge. So as Jeremy's coming, Alex's job is to get all the way outside the paint and step up and let him go through his chest, and always telling our guys you have to have an act because officials are human as well, so you want to kind of sell it a little bit when guys are making that move to the basket. But whether it's off of help side defense or say Jeremy has the ball and Alex is guarding him one-on-one, you know, we've tried to do this a little bit more here lately, to where if Jeremy was to put the ball, we're always yelling to our guys, stay in front, stay in front. But if Jeremy was to make a move, and we try to keep guys out of the paint, but if he was to put it on the floor and try to dip that shoulder, we're telling guys to also now take charges on the ball. But the emphasis of stepping up, that if I was Jeremy, and Alex was on the weak side, and I took the ball to the rim, and now I see him, nowadays you got guys doing this and trying to step across to try to get a foul or an easy layup at the basket. So that's why it's important that our guys not just stand and wait for them to come hit you, but go to them and let the contact happen so that we can get a offensive foul call.
Right. I know last year, Coach, they changed the block charge rules, and then this season they changed them back to the old rules. Could you kind of explain that a little bit and how different it is, or is it really that much different?
Actually, it is. I think early on in the year last year, it was a big emphasis on how can we get scoring up in college basketball. So as guys was going to the basket on drives, it was more now once a guy gathered and you were to step in front of him and take a charge, it was too late now. You almost had to be planted there ready before the ball came up and he was in an upward motion to go at the basket. But now they've gotten back to where now as he drives, and I'm coming, I still have room to move, and when he leaves his feet, if I'm planted, then if there's contact, usually obviously outside of the semicircle, you get the offensive call.
How much would you say this is emphasized in practice, whether you're in season, preseason practice, even summer, you know, the summer things? How much is this emphasized in this program in your estimate?
It's actually emphasized quite a bit. We were really good at it our first few years. If you can think back to Leonard Washington and Adam Waddell and even Larry as a freshman. We haven't had that type of success here lately, but it's always something of concern or always something we're teaching as a staff because we hang our hat on the defensive end of the floor, and that's one of the things that we could take away from them from an offensive standpoint, knowing that we're a pack line help type defensive team.
Why do you think not as much success, just because of some of the offenses changing or some of the?
Well, the new thing would be because of the Ginobili. I mean, there are times where guys are stepping up, but the game has sped up a little bit in the sense of the offensive guy now has that ability to avoid where early on before, like I said, it came down from the NBA. Once guys started going to the rim, it was full steam ahead. And now it gave the defense more of an opportunity to sit there and wait for a guy, whether he passes it, shoots it or not, wait and take the contact and fall down with it to get the charge. But now that you have the Euro step, you know, and it kind of makes it difficult. But at the same time, I still think we're probably one of the better teams in the league at stepping up and taking
Who were some of the better guys on the team? I know you emphasize it to everyone, but who were some of the better guys on this team that do a good job of drawing these fouls?
On this team, I mean, usually when you think of it, you think more bigs, but actually, I think it spaces out a little bit. I think Riley Graybo is one of our better guys. I think Nance is actually pretty good, given that he's a guy that's also capable of blocking shots. And sometimes when you have shot blockers, they kind of jump at everything and they can't find that middle ground of when to block a shot or when to take a charge. And I think he does a pretty good job at that. I would say I think Josh Adams is actually pretty good. Maybe Jason McManaman. I mean, we haven't had a lot this year.
Right.
Like I remember when we first came into the league, just talking to other assistant coaches across the in our conference. I mean, it became a point of emphasis in their practices because we were so good at taking away those opportunities.
And who were some of the better teams, at least this season, along with yourselves, at drawing these, at least in your mind?
You just obviously got to say San Diego State because they're just well-rounded from a defensive standpoint. I would say I thought Boise was solid because I remember talking to one of their coaches about it. And it's like how much they emphasize that more because of the early success we had with it coming into this conference. I would think New Mexico would be one of the better teams as well, stepping up and taking charges.